Hello, Gi-hun. I'm sorry about Jong-bae.
The season opens in chaos, following the aftermath of the rebellion. In the hallway where the massacre took place, workers are finishing off any survivors and collecting the bodies. Those who still show signs of life are marked with a symbol. One of the guards, wearing the triangle mask, warns the familiar sniper from Season 2 to stay silent, or she'll be eliminated. Meanwhile, a coffin is brought into the hall where the players are gathered. Inside lies Seong Gi-hun. He's alive. Yeonju checks his pulse and confirms it. Watching silently is Dai-ho, the Marine who previously panicked and betrayed his friends. He doesn't intervene. On board the ship, the crew discovers that one of their own is missing. The captain assumes the man got drunk and fell overboard. With the weather being rough, survival is unlikely. But we know the truth, who the real killer is. Gi-hun regains consciousness and learns that many have died. Just overnight, 35 people perished. Only 60 remain. The prize fund has increased. Now, it's 660 million won per person. The players are given a choice. Vote on whether the game should continue. Gi-hun, still deeply apathetic and grieving the loss of a friend, abstains. He can't accept their death.
Go on, do it!
The rest vote to continue. The blue circles win. The games will go on. The frontman, In-ho, orders the dead guards to be replaced with workers, the area to be cleaned up, and preparations made for VIP guests. He receives a call from the ship's captain, reporting the passengers' movements. The frontman gives a ruthless command. If anyone approaches the island, eliminate them all, including his own brother, the detective. After an outburst, Gi-hun is handcuffed to a bed. He had tried to provoke a guard into shooting him, but was only dragged away. In the operating room, Nari kills the soldiers. To the last one, she says, "My commander in North Korea was just as trusting as you. That's why I escaped." She spares the medic. He is needed to save a wounded man, but eventually, she kills him too. Gi-hun is too depressed to eat, but Gyu-young encourages him to eat something. She understands he wanted to save everyone, to bring justice to the villains, and shut down the game. He blames Dai-ho, who ran off to fetch ammunition but never returned. Gi-hun glares at Dai-ho, who is quietly eating sweet potatoes. On the ship, Woo-seok remembers the captain holding a screwdriver on the day a crew member disappeared. It all seems suspicious. Detective Jun-ho doesn't think the captain is dangerous. After all, he saved his life and helped him search for the island for years. A new day begins, the start of the next game. Players walk up staircases next to hanging bodies, one of which was Gi-hun's friend. Over the loudspeaker, an announcement explains that these people opposed the democratic vote, which all remaining players had agreed to. This time, the game will be played in 2 teams. Each player must draw a ball to determine their team. Kim and her ex-boyfriend Lee Jung-jae end up on different sides. The same happens to a mother and her son. Ji-young tells everyone not to worry. No one knows what kind of game it will be yet. When the division is complete, the game is revealed. Hide and seek.
Players on the red team must find the members of the blue team.
The blue team must find the exit within 30 minutes. Meanwhile, the red team's goal is to track down and kill blue players. Anyone who fails to kill is automatically eliminated. The blue team receives boxes containing keys that unlock doors in the playing field. However, the doors cannot be closed behind them. The red team is given knives, but they're strictly forbidden from using them on fellow red players. At this point, we see the search team boarding a ship. Woo-seok refuses to sail, claiming he'll figure out the mystery his own way. Right before the game begins, players are given a chance to switch teams, but only if both parties agree. Once the game starts, all swapping of vests or tools is prohibited. Gi-hun sits still, staring at Dai-ho. The mystic Sun Yeon has gathered followers who believe she will lead them to salvation and the exit. Lim Young begs Kim to switch teams. It's their only chance to both survive. When she refuses, he tells her to kill him instead, so their child can live. He later tries to switch with Goom, who wants to find someone willing to trade so she can stay close to a loved one. Lim Young calls this foolish, saying her knees are injured. If they're together, the red team will catch them easily. Chon-dae asks Gi-hun to swap, but Gi-hun's glare alone makes him back off. Dai-ho, sensing he's a target, attempts to switch teams, but is rejected. Finally, he gathers his courage and approaches Gi-hun, saying, "We wouldn't have won that fight anyway. It's not my fault." But Gi-hun sees it differently. He blames Dai-ho. It was his plan that got everyone killed. The game begins. Gum comforts her son, assuring him that if it comes to it, she has a weapon of her own. Meanwhile, the ex-lovers end up swapping teams after all. As the blue team enters the playing field, a 2-minute countdown starts. When the timer ends, the red players will begin the hunt. Player 100 suggests they split up. Yeonju, Ji-young, and Kim decide to stick together. It turns out each key only opens specific locks. Yeonju guesses there are only 3 shapes: triangle, circle, and square, and conveniently, they have them. Ji-young gives her key to Yeonju to speed up their escape. Gi-hun catches a blue player and almost kills him, but it's not Dae-ho. He lets the guy go. Gi-hun only wants one person. Suddenly, he spots Dae-ho on the other side of the room. Player 333 and Nam-gyu chase down a member of the blue team and trap him in a corner. Player 333 says they should kill him together, so the point counts for both of them. And he intends to, but Nam-gyu, high on pills, insists on following him. Player 333 grows nervous, suspecting Nam-gyu might harm her. Nam-gyu calls it love, but continues suggesting they keep eliminating blues, arguing that reducing the number of players increases the prize. No rule said they couldn't kill more than one person. At that moment, player 125 stumbles out of a nearby room and finds a lost pendant containing pills. Elsewhere, a group of women, the Female Alliance, is being chased by a red player. One of them, heavily pregnant, twists her ankle badly. The red approaches and offers player 120 a deal. Hand over the pregnant woman, and he'll let her go. But player 120, a former soldier, despite having transitioned, fights back and wins. Meanwhile, player 100 and his teammate run into a red player. The old man betrays his partner instantly, blocks a door behind him, and steals a key. Player 333 and Nam-gyu find a second blue player. Now, both have 1 kill, but Nam-gyu, intoxicated, pushes for more. Another red attacks player 338, a former soldier, but 338 fights back and steals his knife. He's injured, but alive. The women find a room to tend to. Player 222's injury, but her water breaks. She's going into labor. Player 149 steps up without hesitation to deliver the baby. Meanwhile, player 7, the son of player 149, finds a blue player who first begs for mercy, then suddenly attacks. Player 7 is saved by another red just in time. The mystic San-yeon leads her followers through a corridor. She opens a door, but quickly retreats. 2 red players ambush the group from that very entrance. San-yeon escapes alone. She enters another room and runs into Gi-hun. He's ready to kill her for her cruel words, but she tells him that player 388 is wounded and bleeding down another hallway.
Player 388? I saw him back there.
Gi-hun leaves her and goes after 388. Player 125, confused and unstable from drugs, searches for the girl with the piercing to warn her. Nam-gyu wants to kill her. San-yeon escapes him as well and finds a door, the exit, but it needs 2 more keys. She marks the walls with her own blood to find her way back. Player 100 almost gets caught by player 333 and Nam-gyu, but quickly pretends to be dead, smearing himself with blood. San-yeon finds the old man and suggests they combine keys to escape together. She guides him using her bloody trail. Elsewhere, player 222 successfully gives birth. But then, a red player enters the room. Player 120 fights to defend the mother and baby. Though wounded in the leg, she wins and finds the exit. She returns to tell the others the good news, but someone sneaks up behind her and stabs her. It's player 333. He doesn't tell Nam-gyu that her old girlfriend and the elderly woman are still inside. The women take the dead friend's keys and try to find the exit. It must be nearby. San-yeon and the old man reach the door. Just as she's about to enter, he betrays her, pushes her down, and hides. Player 125 arrives, confused, mistaking San-yeon for Nam-gyu, and kills her. Elsewhere, the new mother and the older woman approach the exit. But before they can enter, the mother's son appears. He confesses he couldn't bring himself to kill anyone. His mother realizes there's only one way. He must kill her to survive and protect the baby. He hesitates, unable to do it. Player 222 tries to sneak away. In a panic, he raises his knife, but his mother stabs him with a hairpin. Gi-hun tracks Dae-ho's blood trail and finds him hiding behind a door. Dae-ho admits he never served in the military. He lied to join a strong team. Gi-hun explodes in rage. He blames Dae-ho for everyone's deaths and attacks him bare-handed. After a brutal fight, Gi-hun kills him. The round ends.
It's all my fault.
Soldiers begin restoring order. One of them is attacked by a player with a knife, but his colleague saves him. The guards pull off their masks. They're actually VIP guests. They laugh and chat about how thrilling the hunt was. The players return to their quarters. Even the soldiers are stunned by the sound of a crying baby. The child remains in the game with her mother. Player 11 attempts to lead player 246, disguised in a pink guard suit, down a dark hallway. Player 149 guesses the baby must be hungry and asks player 222 to feed her. Soldiers enter to congratulate the remaining players. In Game 4, 35 players were eliminated. The total prize pool is now 43 billion won. Only 25 players remain. At dinner, the VIPs laugh and comment that participating is way more fun than watching. They were the ones who helped the soldiers clear out the maze after the game. Meanwhile, the senior staff receives word that some operational soldiers are no longer responding. He gives the order to investigate. Elsewhere, Choi uncovers suspicious information and calls Detective Jun-ho. He reports that Pa is sketchy. No locals know anything about him. The detective is unconvinced, but begins to have doubts. The VIPs worry that the players might vote to end the games, but the host assures them it won't happen. He completely ignores the elderly woman's pleas to spare player 222 and her baby. Soldiers discover the operating room in disarray and report it. Player 11 gives player 246 a key to room 16 and tells him to bring the others. She then climbs into the air vents. The host is right. Voting results confirm that the game continues. Gi-hun remains silent again, so his vote doesn't count. 16 vote to continue. 8 vote to stop. The black square is informed that Soldier 16 is missing, because player 11 disguised the doctor as a player and took his place. On board the ship, the rescue team locates the island. Detective Jun-ho finds it hauntingly familiar. Player 222, exhausted and starving, refuses to eat, but player 149 urges her to eat for her baby's sake. The black square, in his office, orders a search for player 11. Suddenly, she speaks, right behind him. She demands a speedboat and insists that she and Pink 16 be assigned to outside patrol. She threatens to blow the situation up, knowing the VIPs are already on the island. The detective arrives on the island and retraces the steps to where his brother shot him. The memory confirms it's the same place. The elderly woman confesses to Gi-hun. She tells him that although she sometimes felt angry at her son when he tried to take his own life, she prayed he would survive, even offering her own in exchange, and now she had to kill him. She adds, "Bad people blame others. Good people only blame themselves." Gi-hun is speechless. Before leaving, she begs player 456 to look after player 222 and her baby, still believing he joined the game only to save lives. Meanwhile, Choi arrives at Captain Park's residence. A Rottweiler guards the yard. Inside, he finds a photo of Park with the same psychopathic recruiter from the subway, the one who played Takji. Suddenly, the dog breaks free from its chain, forcing Choi to shoot it. As he turns to leave, he spots a hidden compartment under the doghouse, full of money and a soldier's uniform. But police arrive just then and arrest him. Back in the facility, player 11 discovers a key hidden in her breakfast. The black square grows suspicious and orders a second inspection of the operating room. A guard enters the players' quarters carrying a coffin. Everyone is confused until they realize that player 149 has voluntarily left the game. A flashback shows her hanging herself, and the prize pool increases. In the operating room, one of the soldiers realizes player 11 swapped the doctor and a player. He reports this to the black square. During lineup and weapon distribution, the disguised Soldier 16 hears that he's been assigned to outside patrol. We see the players walking down a corridor toward the next game. Player 222 carries her baby. Gi-hun offers to hold the child to ease her burden. As they walk, the young mother opens up. She feels guilty for the deaths of their former group. She chose to keep the baby because she hoped she'd never feel alone again. Gi-hun admits he wasn't a great father, but he's grateful for everything connected to his daughter. As always, the VIPs place bets and joke, suggesting even the baby could be a player to make things more exciting. Game 5 is revealed, jump rope. Players must cross from one side of a platform to the other in any order within 20 minutes. Beneath them lies a deadly drop, and the rope swings with brutal speed. No one dares to go first. Player 125 approaches Nam-gyu and sees he's in withdrawal. He offers him the missing pendant, a crucifix, knowing Nam-gyu will do anything to get high. Nam-gyu bolts across the rope, clears half the distance, opens the cross, and finds it empty. In shock, he falls and is eliminated. Player 222 begs Gi-hun to carry the baby. He agrees and promises to return for her. He crosses quickly, prompting others to move. Player 96 follows behind, but begins shoving anyone who gets too close. This paralyzes the others with fear. Gi-hun asks why he's doing this.
I'm playing.
Player 96 says he plans to eliminate everyone but Gi-hun, and then they'll vote to end the game. Time is running out. The VIPs are ecstatic at the chaos. Gi-hun warns player 96 that he'll throw him off the edge if he keeps pushing people. On the far side, another player shoves someone too. Player 333 approaches his ex-girlfriend to help her cross, but she resents him for killing player 120. She decides she can't trust him anymore. Player 333 turns and heads to the rope. Suddenly, player 96 attacks Gi-hun from behind, but Gi-hun manages to throw him off the platform. Players continue crossing, though not all survive. Player 222 is the last one left. She realizes she'll never make it across, and Gi-hun might die trying to go back for her. That would leave her child alone. She walks to the edge. Everyone realizes what's about to happen. Gi-hun begs her not to. She simply says, "Take care of my daughter," and jumps. Player 11 and player 246 step outside. The black square issues an order to prepare a pursuit team. One VIP speculates about what to do with the baby. No one can agree, so they ask the host. He insists the baby will benefit the game, especially with another vote coming soon. A soldier enters the players' room and announces there are 9 players remaining. The piggy bank is filled again. Confusion sets in. There should only be 8 players left. The soldier explains. The baby took her mother's number, 222. The players protest, arguing that an infant doesn't count. Some threaten to get rid of the child, but the guards quickly suppress the revolt and announce that violence is now forbidden outside of the games. Moments later, soldiers enter with dinner and elegant suits, gifts for the players. Back at the police station, Choi is being interrogated. He struggles to explain why he broke into Captain Park's home. The officers dismiss him as delusional. Meanwhile, on the ship, the detective discusses where to look for the island. He recalls that Hwang once dived in with scuba gear while being towed. The captain crosses out a sector on the map, citing strong currents. Just then, the police call the captain to inform him about the break-in and the Rottweiler. Choi, listening in, hears them spill everything. The money, the uniform, the intruder's name. Choi demands a phone call to his lawyer. He grabs a phone, dashes out, and manages to warn Detective Hwang.
Siri, call Detective Hwang! Wait!
The captain realizes war has begun. He orders the second ship to eliminate the passengers and begins doing the same himself. When one man asks about the detective, the captain is shot in the back with a harpoon. As he dies, he tells Hwang that he saved him on his brother's orders. Meanwhile, the players enjoy a lavish dinner with premium food and drinks. Even the baby is fed from a bottle, warmed by a soldier. The VIPs worry again about a vote to end the game. The host reassures them once more. Before the vote, a soldier hints at the next round's rule. The players can choose 3 people to eliminate. Everyone gets excited and most vote to continue. Gi-hun and player 125 vote no. Player 222's baby, now counted as a player, abstains. On the ship, Hwang bandages the injured man and reflects. The wounded man suspects there's more at stake than just the games and asks, "What is it?" Hwang reveals, "My brother is on that island." They decide to search the previously crossed-out sector. Over the radio, player 11 is contacted and told to return player 246. She refuses. The black square warns her that he knows about 246's daughter, who is sick and in the hospital. Player 11 immediately turns the boat around. After dinner, the 6 players who voted yes, including the father of the baby, agree to eliminate player 125, Jae-hun, and the baby. Meanwhile, player 11 arrives at shore, gives the boat to player 246, and tells him to find land and call the police to save his daughter. The black square sees the boat drifting away and orders their elimination, but player 11 is already scaling a cliff to sneak back in. That night, player 456 is summoned to meet the host.
He wants to see you.
The host lays out the final rules and offers Gi-hun a choice. He can leave now, alive. He hands Gi-hun a knife. They're all asleep, drunk, full. You can finish this. Gi-hun is stunned. The host removes his mask. Gi-hun grabs the knife and raises it, but the host tells him that killing him won't change anything. I don't make the rules, he says, and the final game can't happen with just 2 players. You could leave now. 2 winners are allowed. Finally, the host asks, do you still believe in people? Gi-hun leaves in silence. Player 11 disables a ventilation fan and climbs inside. Back in the players' quarters, Gi-hun walks over to player 100. The host watches and has a flashback. Years ago, he was in Gi-hun's place, offered the same choice. He killed the others and became the winner. Gi-hun, meanwhile, remembers Sae-byok's words, "You're not like them." He lowers the knife and walks away. Detective Hwang and his companion continue searching for the island. Over the radio, Hwang's brother pleads with him to come back. The detective refuses, even when threatened with death. Morning comes. The final game is about to begin. Player 100 notices a small wound on his neck. Meanwhile, player 11 finally reaches the black square's office. She demands he delete all records of player 246. Pretending to comply, he fakes the deletion under the guise of marking 246 as deceased. She nearly shoots him, but he quickly adds, "There are still paper records in the host's office. Only the host and I can access them." She forces him to come with her. Back in the main hall, the players enter the arena. 3 elevated platforms shaped like a square, triangle, and circle await them. The rule: at least 1 player must be pushed off from each platform. The round begins when someone presses the floor button. In the elevator, the black square seizes an opportunity to attack player 11. They fight in the host's office. During the struggle, he reveals he's originally from North Korea too, and he once lost someone because he couldn't secure a kidney transplant. That's why he hoped she would understand. As he rambles on, player 11 crawls toward the elevator. He doesn't realize what she's doing, until the elevator doors open and she grabs an assault rifle. Back in the game room, player 100 hits the button on the floor. The round begins. Suddenly, the players start acting like the VIPs, calmly discussing who to throw off first. They decide on player 125, whose withdrawal symptoms make him unstable, but no one wants to push him. They fear he'll drag them down too. Eventually, player 333 gets clever. He grabs a pole from the floor and shoves 125 off the platform. As 125 falls, he sees the girl he joined the game for. She silently calls to him. The round ends. The players advance to the triangle platform. This time, they wait before pressing the button, hoping to strategize. They decide to eliminate the baby next. Using rock, paper, scissors, they choose who will do it. But Gi-hun distracts the chosen player. He warns that the others are plotting to get rid of him next. Player 203, the group's unofficial leader, has already pressed the button. Time is running. Suddenly, player 333 comes up with a new plan. Pretend they're drawing lots, but secretly tie themselves together by the waist. Player 11, now in the archive room, finds player 246's file. Meanwhile, player 246 is running for his life from soldiers. Just as he seems cornered, Detective Hwang and his partner appear and open fire, saving him. The players prepare to execute their plan. Confusion breaks out. One panicked player grabs Gi-hun by the waist. Gi-hun pulls a knife from a dead player's body and cuts the jacket of the man in front. Behind them, player 333 yells, "Out of the way!" and pushes a random player off. Now, on the triangle platform, the baby and her protector face off against 4 men. Player 100 suggests a real lottery, but player 333 doesn't trust the others. Player 100 reminds them Player 333 planned everything from the start. Then, 333 admits the truth. He's the baby's father. He'd always been on Gi-hun's side. Player 100 devises a sick plan he calls takeout. The men beat up one player and suggest throwing him next. Then they'd all survive. Gi-hun refuses. The VIPs are loving it. No one agrees to a lottery. A brawl breaks out. Gi-hun and player 333 fight back. When the dust settles, only they, player 100, and the beaten man remain. Player 333 tries to toss the old man too.
Player 100 eliminated.
Everyone hopes the beaten man might help, but he declares he can't take it anymore and throws himself off. Now, 3 remain: Gi-hun, player 333, and the baby. Detective Hwang sails up to player 246's boat. He checks on the man, amazed he actually escaped. Player 246 points to the direction of the island. Meanwhile, the final round's timer expires. The bridge extends. Player 333 steps forward, grabs a pole, and tells Gi-hun to hand over the baby and stay behind. Player 456 is stunned. He realizes player 333 is willing to sacrifice his own daughter for the prize. In the archive, player 11 burns the file on the man she loves. As she prepares to leave, she sees her own file and stops. The host receives a report. A ship is just 1 kilometer from the island. The detective says he's called the Coast Guard and now plans to swim to the island himself. Player 333 starts rambling, accusing Gi-hun of getting involved with his ex during the games, even wondering if they'd known each other beforehand. Gi-hun calmly insists he simply promised to protect the baby. Player 333 doesn't believe him. Gi-hun gives in, places the baby on the bridge, and backs away. Player 333 uses the pole to pull the child toward the final platform. He stands still, waiting for the countdown to finish. Gi-hun, meanwhile, retrieves the knife from a fallen player. When the timer ends and the bridge retracts, he leaps across, landing on the final platform. Now there are still 3 players, but one must be eliminated. First, someone has to press the button. Player 11 reads her own file. The organization had tracked her since her defection from North Korea. They even had photos of her husband, and her daughter, who was presumed dead. Back on the platform, Gi-hun and player 333 begin fighting. Their weapons, a knife and a pole. Gi-hun manages to knock the pole from 333's hands, but then grabs the baby and threatens to throw her off the edge if Gi-hun makes another move. He's willing to let his own child die to win. Gi-hun drops the knife and steps back. Player 333 puts the baby down and lunges at Gi-hun. They struggle and both end up hanging from a steel beam. 333 clings only by his jacket, which Gi-hun is gripping tightly, but the jacket rips. Player 333 falls.
Player 333 eliminated.
A drone spots the Coast Guard ship. The host gives the order: evacuate the island and activate the self-destruct sequence. Gi-hun pulls himself back onto the platform. He sees the button to start the game round and presses it. Then he stands still, cradling the baby. The VIPs think it's over. They assume the baby is eliminated, but they clearly don't know Seong Gi-hun. Player 11 is watching from the host's chair. She puts the rifle to her head, but then lowers it. She wants to live.
We are not horses. We are humans.
The 11th one was deeply moved by this and decides to live.
All personnel at the evacuation point.
The host bids farewell to Gi-hun and takes the baby. When Gi-hun's old room is reopened, it's Detective Hwang who now enters. He cries out, "Why, brother?" But the host silently walks away. We cut to a hotel in South Korea. Someone breaks in and takes Gi-hun's money. 6 months later, Player 11 sits in a park with player 246. He sketches her, not knowing who she is since he never saw her face. She watches her daughter playing. The girl is healthy and safe, thanks to donations. Back in her car, player 11 gets a call. A man says he's from an agency and claims her daughter may have been spotted in China. Choi is released from prison. Hwang and another friend greet him. They joke about what's next in their lives. Choi wonders who stole Gi-hun's money. Only 3 people knew about it. Maybe it was Gi-hun. They doubt it, sadly. Hwang returns home to a surprise, the baby, with a bank card. It's her prize money. At the airport, Cheol, Sae-byok's brother, finally reunites with their mother. An agent stands beside him, the one who helped track her down. On the escalator, player 11 rides silently, heading to China to find her daughter. Choi begins renovations at Gi-hun's hotel. He shows his new partner the bed where stacks of cash once sat. He wonders aloud who could have stolen it. We jump to the USA. A black Lamborghini pulls up to a house. A young girl answers the door. "Are you Seong Gi-hun?" The man asks. "I'm a friend of your father. I brought a gift from him." Gi-hun coldly replies, "Tell him I'm done waiting for his call." She's angry. The man interrupts her. "Your father is dead, but he asked me to give you this." He hands her a box. Inside, Gi-hun's bloody jumpsuit and a card loaded with money. Now we know who took Gi-hun's money. As the car pulls away, the host looks out the window and sees Kate Blanchett playing Tokji on an American street. They exchange a knowing smile. The Squid Game story isn't over.